I'm busy right now, and I need to get this done.
Bye.
ASAP.
We're gonna be talking about our experience with the Jonas Brothers and how we got into Pitt and everything else that was in the previous vlog. Okay, so we should just start on how we got meet and greet. So basically, we went them through Wild because they were getting out meet and greet. I didn't know they were meet and greet at first. Check-in was at 6:45. No, I don't even know. So we check in, we get these wristbands that say Jonas Brothers, but they say radio on them. We get escorted inside. It was a mess. It took us like 30 minutes to get to where
it took us like 45 minutes at most.
We got a tour of the Chase Center.
Yeah.
And so we waited in line. Regular VIP went in, and then we did. So when we're waiting in line, you can hear the guys, and you can see like the backdrop. So we go in, and did I go in first?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so I go in first. It was Kevin, so shook Kevin's hand, and then it was Joe, and then it was Nick.
Because they told us like we could hug them, but you
With
have to
consent.
ask. Yeah. Which obviously, like, if you don't do that, like,
You get in trouble.
it's common sense.
I'm standing in between Nick and Joe, and then Jazz is standing in between Kevin and Joe. So for me, when I said hi to all of them, they were really sweet. And then when it was time to take the picture, I wasn't ready, so I told the photographer to like wait, and then Nick like gave it a signal to wait, and so he was looking at me while I was fixing the headpiece that I was wearing, and yeah, and then we just took a picture, and it was not rushed at all. I didn't feel like it was rushed.
It wasn't as rushed as people made it seem. In my point of view, when we went in, yeah, we shook all their hands, starting with Kevin, went to Joe, and then Nick. And when I went to go shake Joe's hand is when he looked up and saw my hat, and he's like, "I love your hat." I was like, "Thank you very much." And then so when Monica was having her whole issue on the other side of the room, basically I was explaining to Kevin and Joe. Nick had to hear me because he knew what was going on. I explained to them the pose, and they did it. And then when I looked up to the camera, like Kevin, Joe, and I were all ready for the picture, and then I see the camera go from here to here, and I was like, what the heck? And that's when I looked to Monica, and she was still putting on her little headpiece. And so we took a picture, and then after the picture, I was like, I'm not leaving here without a hug from a Jonas brother. So I turned to Kevin, and I was like, can I hug you? And he was like, yes, of course. So I hugged Kevin Jonas, and only Kevin Jonas. And then I started like walking towards like the exit where Monica was, because she was already like at the exit. And then while I was walking, Joe, again, he said that he really liked the hat. And again, I was like, thank you. And then as we were walking out, I was saying goodbye to them. And that's when Nicholas Jonas stops.
Did he like tap your shoulder?
No, he didn't touch me at all.
Oh.
He stops me and he asked where I got my hat. And I said eBay, because I did get it on eBay like 4 years ago. And he made like a face at like, what the heck? Like he didn't expect it. And then we thanked them and we left the little tent. Bless you. And that was it for the meet and greet. It was fun.
And then we had fake tickets for Pitt.
No, we didn't have them yet. I haven't made them.
Oh yeah, so we went up to the like first floor, like getting out of the backstage area. So Jazz is making the tickets. And then once she's done, we walk down and security tells us that we have to go back to get a wristband.
No, you're jumping ahead. Way ahead. What happened was I made the tickets. We went down the escalators to the first security. They let us through, and that was the first line of security. Then we got to the floor, and there was like 3 security standing together, and so we went up to them and showed them the fake ticket. And they all were like, oh, okay, pit. And so they pointed us in the direction of pit. That's the second line of security. Then in the middle of the floor, there was another one, the cool guy. He, then we showed him a ticket, and he was really happy about everything, so he let us through. Third line of security. And then that's when we finally got to pit. And we didn't have a wristband yet, and the wristbands were pink. So we got there, and I was so scared we were getting caught. So basically, we went up to that security at the pit, and they're like, you need a wristband. And we're like, oh, we held up our hands, and I was like, oh, we have the meet and greet wristband. Like, we just got a meet and greet, but they never gave us the other wristband. And then so the guy was super nice. He's like, okay, go to this area. It said like restrooms or something. So we went over there. We went up the escalators, and we went up to some lady. The lady, we went up to her, we showed her the tickets like really quick. Like, I don't know how you did it, but I was like barely showing her my ticket. Because I was like, this girl's gonna touch my screen and figure out it's a fake ticket. So, she's like, this isn't pit. And it was pit, it's just that it was, I guess, written a different way. The way I wrote it. And so at first she was like, this isn't pit. And I got super scared, and that's when I thought it was all over. And then I was like, no, it is pit, and I pointed more to it, and then she was like, oh yeah, it is. And I was like, thank God. And then so there was this guy sitting next to her in a suit, so she sent that guy to like, she said to follow that guy, and he kind of escorted us to the area where you get your wristband, because it was in a different area of the arena that you couldn't really get from the inside. So we went with him, and then he went to the entrance where we literally walked in like an hour before. And then he like went outside, and that's when like Monica was about to step outside. I was like, no, you are not stepping outside. We are not stepping outside.
We kept on asking him, are you gonna scan our tickets?
No, because I was like, don't you have to rescan the ticket or something like that for us to go outside? Like, I had to make sure, because this girl kept like wanting to walk. I was like, what are you doing?
Just follow along.
And then he's like, no, it's fine. So we went to the other door. So he went to the other door.
Yeah, when he confirmed that we're not gonna take a scan, we walk out, and like, I guess there's like a separate entrance for pit. So we walk in, and he's like, oh, these ladies need a wristband. So we show them our tickets, and they're putting on the wristband, and they see the meet and greet wristband. So the girls start asking us questions, and like, they look so happy.
No, it's because I said we had meet and greet. I was like, oh, we came from meet. I said the same thing. I kept saying the same thing over and over. I was like, we just came from meet and greet. No one gave us another wristband.
And like, the girls were so happy, and they were just like talking to us. We talked to them for like a quick second. And then we got our wristbands, and
the guy who took us like was so nice about everything. And then he like walked us back down to like where the floor area was. All the workers there were pretty nice.
And then,
but they suspected nothing. That's the one thing.
So we walked down, and we passed all the lines of security with no problem.
Yeah, we were just going like this with our 2 wristbands. We're like, yes.
And then there's like this one security I'll never forget. He was so nice.
He was
and
like dancing the whole night.
And when we got our wristbands, he's like, yes. Like, he made
so happy.
Yeah, it was so funny. And then, so we walked to pit. We were on the right side of the stage, so we were a good spot.
We're on Kevin's side.
Our pit was pretty empty.
And then once we got in, that's when we started freaking out. We're like, it worked. Because I sincerely thought, like, when the lady told us that it wasn't a pit ticket, I thought that was it. I was like, yep, it's not a pit ticket. Yes, it's fake.
And this venue is huge, so our seats
it's brand
were
new. Like, it just
all the way
opened.
to top.
Yeah, and so when we were in the pit, like mid-show, not mid-Jonas Brothers show, but like mid-BB Rexa, I looked up and I was like counting the sections at the top, and then I figured out which one we were supposed to be in, and I told Monica, and it was the highest section behind the stage, so like we wouldn't have been able to see half of the show.
There would have been a screen like just showing us everything.
Not even, we're behind the screen if we sat up there. pretty much it. That's how we did it.
That's just basically it.
But I'm not gonna show you guys how I did it, just cause like
Exclusive.
it's really like the thing you shouldn't be doing. But I still somehow think it's okay. I've done it at a few shows, but like I was surprised it worked here just because it was the newest venue.
I thought they would be stricter, but they
Stricter?
weren't as strict.
Why is this song playing again?
Because she's the queen.
Oh, to prove that we were like all the way at the top, there's a ticket like over there. Actually, no, it's behind my case, but there's also one over there that's yours. Sure.
These were the pit wristbands. This was our ticket.
Our actual ticket. And then I'll put in a picture of our fake ticket as well. People are gonna like screenshot that.
So that was basically our experience at the Jonas Brothers in San Francisco.
Depending on the venue is how you can sneak in.
Mm-hmm.
We're all like getting ready. We should probably say what we're getting ready for.
Oh yeah, so we're getting ready to see in real life in concert.
Once again.
Once again.
For the 10th million trillionth time. 4 to 70.
I can't believe Janessa said that.
What did you say?
What? I didn't even hear what you said.
Janessa said crickets.
I'm so confused. I don't even know what's going on.
Kamal said cricket.
I did not say that. Oh my god, why would you say that?
Oh, Janessa,
Why would you say that? So disrespectful.
I didn't say shit.
Bye.
Bye.
I have my eyebrows.